keeping you waiting just made me think of time. Time's a funny thing, isn't it? So what's suggested, what I might suggest, is that there really is no time, but boy, is it convincing. You could say there's only time, only this time. And this is the first time and the last time. There really is no time all the time. So this hasn't happened before. This doesn't happen again. And this doesn't continue to happen. The continuing, the carrying on, the continuation. May feel true. Probably does. So things appear to continue until they don't. Kind of self-evident, really. But life is always new. There's no age. Which, when you're my age, is some consolation. There really is no aging, just the appearance of it. The whole sense of getting older is that there's space between the beginning and the ending. But this is the beginning and the ending, with no space between. There's nothing in between. Time says there's in between. So there's no separate events. Events don't have a time span. Not even one event. So it might sound like I know what I'm talking about, I have no idea what I'm talking about because it doesn't make sense rationally, logically. And there can be concern that if this is seen, it's not seen, for want of a better word, if this is seen, then you won't be able to function in the world of time, because of course time is essential to function, to make dates, to plan, to organize. Well, if it's seen to be, I could say illusory, but if it's seen that, or it's obvious that we've made up time, I say we, human beings, time doesn't exist apart from human beings, probably, then it in no way impacts on ability to function in time, knowing that it's just a story of time. It's all we have in relation to one another. And it can sound very mystical, all of this, but I have no sense of it being mystical in any way. It's just glaringly obvious, if it's obvious, that everything changes, seems to change, but nothing doesn't change. And of course, the changing does require time. Nothing doesn't require time. And the reason time is always so precious to most human beings is because I need time. If I'm going to become what I desire to become, then of course I need time to do that. And that's why hopelessness, when it's spoken about, can feel so dreadful to self who needs the hope of time in order to become fulfilled, to become whole, to become whatever it's imagined would fill the void, fill the hole, make me complete. Well, there can be no completion apart from in the story of incompletion, of working towards, of becoming. And so this may sound nihilistic in that it's hopeless, and yet the absence of hope is not hopeless at all. Hopelessness only exists in hope. This is utterly neutral. But including all the conditions. Well, thank you everyone for being patient at the beginning when I was late. If you'd like to share anything or you'd like to ask a question, then just put your hand up or write in the chat.
Oh, Michael's got his hand up.
Hi, Michael.
Right. You were talking about time, and I was thinking how our time is based on how the Earth circles the sun, and what time would be like in space, or on Jupiter, or anywhere else but except on Earth in our objectifying mind. And I wrote that astronauts leave their watches at home. Time has no relevance
No.
when you're circling the Earth.
No.
None whatsoever. And that's true of everything. Nothing has relevance except in the human mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so hard to grasp with the mind that exists only in the realm of relevance.
Yeah. No, that's very true. And it doesn't feel like it's been grasped either. I don't feel that I've grasped it in any way. It's very hard to convey this. I mean, I speak about this, and I mean, I speak about it wonderfully, and so you're convinced that I'm some kind of got some, you know, wonderful special insight and knowledge. It couldn't get further from the truth. It's simply that the one who thought they could know, if I'm telling a story, it's like he gave up, or he just lay down and he didn't get up again. and then somehow it's easy to speak of the obviousness of relativity just being relative, but not the truth. Whereas for nearly every human being, what we call the relative is the real, is really, really, really real. And I'm not saying it's lost all its reality, although for a time it seemed to. There's a story, but it could seem to lose all its reality. But then it's just relatively real. So time appears just the same. I mean, is this obvious? This is how obvious it is to me. I've just rushed home. I was late and didn't have my computer. And so where is my journey to get to this computer, to be sitting in front of you now? Where is that? Where is it? I mean, that's all I'm speaking about. So I don't know that there isn't any time. I mean, I can say it. I just mean, well, where's the experience of it, of time? There is no experience of time. There is stories of time. That's all. The whole experience is a story, not of time.
Where's the start of the meeting?
But,
Where's the start of the meeting?
yeah, where's that? Where's the words I just spoke about? Where's the journey here? Where are they? Well, they're wonderfully, miraculously, they're somewhere in the cloud, and later I'm going to put them on YouTube. Well, fucking hell, how the hell does any of that? The thing about all of this is it's all miraculous. Everything. It's just a wonder. And the wonder is that we take it because we think we know how it works, like we know how time works. How hilarious that human beings, most do, and by no, I just mean it just goes unquestioned. That's what I mean by I know it. I don't need to question it. It's true. And maybe life is simpler for those who don't question, but there aren't any of you here who have not been questioners throughout your life. Otherwise you wouldn't be here. It's the only way to get here is you've probably questioned everything. And you know, you've landed in some places where you thought you might rest, and maybe you've rested there for a while, but you can only rest for a while, and then the questions start again. As soon as you've got an answer, as soon as there's a resting place, the questions begin. Because an answer requires questions. And this isn't a resting place. You could say that's because there is no place to rest. It isn't somewhere where I can rest. By rest, I mean in my certainty, in my knowledge, in my understanding. Because what this does is it annihilates all your beautifully futile, wonderfully innocent efforts to understand life, everything. So, so it's like giving up without anyone giving up, because really there was never anyone actually trying to find out in the first place. I mean, it's wonderfully hilarious in that you thought you could know. Maybe you're still holding on. You can't do otherwise. If there's a sense of you need to know in order to be complete, then that's how it is. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's fucking painful. And I'm also saying it's futile. And that seems like a loving thing to say, a compassionate thing to say. It may not sound it, but it is. You know, you can stop if you could. But you can't stop because you are the keeping going.
Sophie has a hand up.
Hi, Sophie. Just
sorry, I was looking for the mic.
yeah, that's good.
I didn't. I was just thinking about time, because it's actually very simple to see that time is just a concept, in the sense like if I would sit in a room with any windows, and I would just sit there and sit there and sit there without any clock or windows, how would I know what the time is?
Well, I mean, as Michael pointed out earlier, we are on Earth, so it get dark at some point. That would give you a clue. But
No, but I mean, if there is no windows, there is no windows. You can
oh, okay. There's no windows. Okay,
and no clock.
right.
You wouldn't be able to measure anything.
Yeah. Well, I do think that's one of the points of solitary confinement, is that self really hates not knowing time.
Yeah.
And it's hugely disorientating for self to be that. And maybe that would be the same still. I don't know. If you put me in a cell where I couldn't tell night from day and had no, yeah, I wouldn't. That would be
Disorienting.
very. I mean, we are animals. I mean, I'm not saying. I'm biologically we have a rhythm, you know, like sleep rhythm. Where sleep deprivation is another, you know, solitary confinement where you didn't know time, and then you wouldn't know when to sleep and when
Exactly.
night from day. It would be a kind of torture, I guess.
Yeah, but I think my point was like that you will not be able to measure, and time is measurable.
No.
Oh, yeah. It was just, I was just really laughing with that, because it was really funny, like because we need time to be able to function, that's for sure. But it's like we make it up. We invented time to be able to function in the world. But it is about measuring. We just have to measure, like, you know,
Yeah.
the
I mean, I can't say we made up time, because I mean, animals, some are nocturnal and some sleep at night. You know, you could say animals know time, but what they don't do is they won't be measuring it in the way that we do. But
right. I mean, there is like the natural rhythm of nature, like we have a night and we have the day, but we sort of divided it into like a real time, like of hours and minutes. And
yeah, really, when I'm talking about time, I'm not really talking about that kind of biological animal sense of time. It's more the story of my life is what I mean.
Right.
Because really, why is time so important to me? Well, time's so important because there's really important things that I need to do with my time.
Right. But the time is just in the mind, like the time you talk about it, it's like not psychological time.
Yeah.
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 That's interesting. And it's really just, that's what I meant. That's what I meant when I said like we make that up. We made that up. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's not a problem.
No, I don't say that at all. I was just having
No.
like thinking like if I wouldn't have a clock and there was not be time like light of day or night, I wouldn't be able to say what time is according to what we think time is.
Yeah. And I mean, we all know that time isn't linear and there is no constant in it. The sense of time can go really slowly, or it can have a sense of time dragging and really, you know, when you're waiting. If you're waiting in a line and you've got an impatient personality, then 10 minutes can seem like an hour, no trouble at all.
Right. Even without having a clock, or I mean.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Time is totally arbitrary, and it's just a sense of. And again, it's very different for different human beings.
Right.
There is no constant.
No. Interesting. Anyway, thank you, Tim.
Thanks, Sophie. I kind of regret talking about time because I'm making more of a big deal of it than I should, really. It's really, I think the sense of why I spoke about it, I did a post earlier. I think that was it. Maybe, I don't know. But time, really what I mean is that time isn't the problem that it was for me. Time was a problem. Not having enough of it to do the things that I need to do, my bucket list, my achievement list, they all need time, don't they? If I'm going to achieve in this limited time. So my suggestion is that time isn't limited. Now, it will appear like that. I'm not saying it won't appear. Don't worry, you'll be dead soon enough, he said, with some glee. But if you have a sense of, the whole sense of me is the sense of that there's things, well, I need to get to where I need to get to. And I'm just suggesting there isn't anywhere to get to, or anyone who could get there. And to say that's a relief doesn't even come close. It's not a relief for someone, but it is such a relief from that incessant need to achieve, fear of failing to achieve whatever you've told yourself that would bring you completion. You're not incomplete. There's no one who has become complete. There's no one who's incomplete. How wonderful. It's devastatingly wonderful. Whoever you fantasize about, they're the complete one. Your heroes must die if you want to be free from the desire to become like them. And by die, I mean they don't have to physically die. They just have to die in your ideation that they're perfect. There is no perfection. Every human being is perfectly imperfect, exactly as they are. Really, that's unconditional love on the human level, in terms of looking at human beings and going, well, you judge them on a hierarchy of whatever criteria you're using this week. And there's nothing worse than spiritual criteria for assessing a human being. and their level of perfection. Jenny.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, Jenny.
I like what you said about your heroes having to die. And I was wondering, why would anyone want to die before they die? What is the benefit from that?
Well, wonderfully, there is, yeah, that's a good point. Well, you can listen to Non-Duality and it can be heard that you could die before you die, and it can sound attractive to the one who suffered. That's what I would say. So the one who suffered seemingly at the hands of their own self,
Right.
then dying to self can sound very attractive.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying that. There is no one to die. There's just death, which is just a physical. It's just, it's a given, and death isn't somewhere else. Death is always. It's not separate from life.
Right.
So again, there isn't a death to come in the future. I don't know that I won't know my own death, but I don't know why I'm so confident. I don't know, but how on earth would I know my own death?
If you're going through this process of dying before you die, would you be more likely to take more risks and do things unlike your character?
Well, the way I see it is, I don't know that. But what I'd suggest is, as there is no one to die, that the whole sense of self is illusory, and when it's gone, it won't even be noticed that it's gone. The only thing that's noticed is the only thing that makes it plausible to talk in that way is that there's some of the symptoms, maybe most of the symptoms of me and my life are absent, and from that. But there isn't a self to die.
So your life looks completely different afterwards.
Say again?
So even though there's nowhere to go and nothing to do, would you find yourself suddenly doing things and going places to receive an education? Or what is that all about? Why do I feel like I'm trying to find lessons inside everything?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't know that. I'm guessing if that's maybe you've always wanted to do that, but you felt that you couldn't. I don't know.
Okay. That makes sense.
You know, I mean, I do speak about this as liberation. There is some freedom from myself. You know, the character, the human being is freed from some, but it's not freed from the conditioning or the character or personality. That's inherently what a human being is, those things. But without them being mine, and without the judgment of, oh, I shouldn't be like this, I should be more like that, with less, if not all of that disappearing or not appearing, then of course there is freedom for a human being to be,
Right.
really simply do more what it enjoys doing. That's what I would say.
There's so much.
What is their pleasure to do? So maybe you're just doing some more things that you enjoy.
It gets confusing sometimes because there were so many things I enjoyed as a kid, and I want to do all the things all at once, and it's causing me to not burn out, but I'm losing sleep and having manic symptoms, and my family wants to put me in the psych ward, and they got really mad because they took me to the psych ward yesterday and I didn't get admitted. They didn't want to stay late and do paperwork, they said. So I'm fine with it, but my family is very worried about me.
Yeah.
And go
Well,
ahead.
They would be worried about you if they love you.
Yes. Can you feel like love is a cage?
Can I feel love is a what?
A cage.
It can feel like that, yeah. Well,
But you're happy to be a bird.
yeah. Well, yeah, I
Okay.
mean, I guess you just want to fly, but if you're trying to do all your flying all at once, then maybe it looks dangerous to them.
It does, but looks are deceiving.
And they'll be afraid that you'll fall as well.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Oh, thanks, Jenny.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, Natalie.
I'm in a public place, so I can't talk too much. Yourself. Anyway, whenever anyone says something about time, like it just happened when you first started, it reminds me of something I heard, like, what time is it on the sun?
Yeah, that's what Michael was talking about at the beginning. Yeah.
Oh, did he? Oh,
No,
I'm
he
glad
said
you-
no. He said he
Oh.
said in deep space, in outer space. You know,
Oh, okay.
what time is it? I don't know. If you travelled 400 million light years from Earth, what time is it there now? What's the time? Yeah. So, what time is it on the sun? Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah. Did Michael always have a beard like that? Michael, did you
No,
just?
he's gone.
He's just grown it.
He's just gone Santa on us for some reason. I don't know.
I thought it looked pretty distinguished.
I think it's pretty dashing, isn't it? We don't.
I do. Yeah.
It does. Yeah, it suits him.
Well, your beard looks nice, Michael.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love the sound of your voice. It's just
Oh, do you? Thank
I
you.
do. It
I love the
resonates.
sound of yours.
You sweetheart.
I
Oh.
do. I love
Right,
it.
get a room.
I love Tim's accent though. It's amazing.
Yeah. Why do you think I'm coming to America next week?
Yeah, I do think I'm going to be there in North Carolina next week.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Sorry for the sidetrack, Michael.
Yeah. I've been likened to a cross between Ricky Gervais and Hugh Grant. Now, Ricky Gervais, I can see. Hugh Grant, but I'll take it.
Yeah. I was going to say I could see Hugh Grant. I don't know who Ricky Gervais is.
You don't.
No. I'll look him up.
I wouldn't bother.
Oh, okay. I won't. Okay, so if anyone figures out what time it is on the sun, just let me know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good question.
Yeah.
Hey, Tim, it's Karen here.
Hi, Karen.
Hi, I just wanted to say that I was loving what Michael was saying today about relevance, because in the past few days, I've been remembering something I heard 30 years ago, which said, I have given everything I see all the meaning that it has for me. So I've been thinking about meaning and how nothing has meaning. I mean, this is hysterical. everything that it's so funny. It really doesn't have meaning unless I give it meaning. And there's incredible,
No,
incredible freedom in that.
it's wonderful, isn't it?
It's absolutely amazing.
And I'm not, and when I say nothing has any meaning, I don't mean that I don't ascribe meaning to things. Of course not. It's the most natural thing. That's all. I mean, talk about a habit. There's a habit you were taught at a very early age. And in order to function at all, you had to ascribe meaning to everything. But it can be glaringly obvious that without me and my meaning, without giving meaning to things, essentially, inherently, nothing has any meaning at all.
And I think a lot of people don't, well, it's hard to, I mean, it took me 30 years to be happy about that.
I know.
I mean,
And yeah, I mean, what it's the greatest freedom, isn't it?
it is. It's so wonderfully free. And it actually takes you to a place of timelessness, agelessness, whatever. You know, when I felt it, I felt like, oh
Yeah.
my God, I'm 5 years old. And it just feels, you know, like when you are young and you notice everybody's giving meaning to everything. In fact, I noticed that in Sunday school when I was coloring a picture of Jesus because it was a Baptist Sunday school. And, you know, the teacher was going on and on and on and on and on. And I thought, this is just a picture of a guy on a page that I'm coloring. And I had that momentary awareness of this has no meaning.
No,
But you know, I didn't think I could know anything at 5 years old.
no.
So, but it's
Well,
beautiful to re-realize it that way.
well, a
Go
lot
ahead.
of what I speak about, I mean, this isn't anything new. This is what's always been known
Mhm.
without any knowledge. But of course, meaning is knowledge, meaning is understanding, or understanding is meaning, giving meaning.
Yes.
And this is, you know, we all knew this. We all knew there was no meaning to anything before we knew that everything should have a meaning or is meaningful. Yeah.
It's wonderful. I'm going to have to get off the mic because I'm just going to keep laughing because it's so wonderfully adorable and precious to realize there's just no meaning if I don't give it any.
No.
Everything is just, it is, as you say, it's just happening.
And even, I mean, how wonderful is it that all the meaning that I give to something or anyone else gives it, that's all meaningless. All the meaning doesn't mean anything other than the meaning it has for the one for whom it has meaning.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
all.
Yes. I can't even imagine what it must be like for you to walk around in the world and know this, like to see that everybody's just giving everything meaning when it really doesn't have any without the person giving it meaning.
No.
I look forward to this. If this lasts any longer than just a few minutes, as it has been, I look forward to seeing the world through these eyes. So thank you, Tim. That was great. And thanks to Michael, because he brought up about the relevance. You know, does anything have relevance without the one giving it relevance?
Oh, thanks, Karen.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, Natalie mentioned it, but I might as well give a plug. So, so I'm flying to Charlotte next Tuesday, and I'm in Asheville for the weekend, 28th, 29th, 30th April. If you could make it, that'd be brilliant. All the details are on the website. And then the following weekend, I'm in Sacramento. So that's 5th, 6th, 7th May. And again, all the details are on the website. So that's exciting because Americans think my accent is cool. And interestingly, in my own country, I'm treated with contempt and disdain. But they do say something about prophets not being welcome in their own village. Something like that. Well, I've fucking found that to be absolutely true. I've now had my wonderful book, This Deafening Silence, in the local cafe on a little book stand. Crafts, local crafts, and a couple of local authors, of which I'm one. I thought I won't be greedy. I'll just put 3 books there to start with. They're still there.
Are you going to shock the locals?
Sitting there. There's just one dog-eared copy that people have gone, oh, Tim Cliss. Oh yeah, I knew his father. Open it, go, what the fuck is this? I haven't heard anyone say that. It's just artistic license, but I can hear them saying it. So yeah, so I've sold none. I think it's 2, maybe it's more than 2 years. Bestseller. Anyway.
I was just asking if you were trying to shock the locals.
Well, I just thought I'd come out of the closet. I mean, it probably wasn't the best thing to do, but there we go. Once it was done, it was done. So I don't really go to the pub anymore. There's that. He used to be all right. He used to be quite a decent sort of guy. Played a lot of football at one point. It was all right. Now look at him.
But there is no one in your environment who's like interested at all in what you're saying, just a bit. Wow. Not even if you talk about it like lightly?
No.
Wow.
Not one. Well, there's my brother. He'll speak to you in a minute. He's not, I'm decided after last week's performance, he can have a little slot. I'm only saying that because he's just walked in. So I'm only saying it for amusement, really. Just to wind him up, because he'll get nervous now.
I wish him success.
Now, you'd think, so out of my old friends, you know, my, what we're going to call it, pre-non-duality friends. No, none. Having said that, my really good friend Chris, he did come to London the other week. He came to Hampstead, just because he had never been to Hampstead, I think, for a day out. And I said, we'll go to the pub after. And I said, it's got some good real ale, because he likes real ale. So he sat through the meeting the whole 3 hours, and he did sit through it. I don't think he asked a question. And I said, after 3 hours, it's a long time. So I said, how did you find it? He went, well, I was just waiting for some fucker to tell me what the hell was going on. That was his assessment of the whole meeting. But he said, I thought at some point somebody would tell me what the hell it's all about. So I said, you didn't feel you got that? He went, no, not at all. There we go. That's what you get for generally preaching to the converted. That's the problem. So for him, it was, he hadn't got a clue what any of it was about.
Hey, Tim, I have a copy of your book. So if I bring it, will you sign it?
Well, I think Tim's frozen. So let's see if he comes back.
Okay, I'll just bring the book in case, just in case.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop the recording. That might help at his end. Let's see.